welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a review and demo on a new product I got my hands on from Maybelline. This is one of their new concealers. It is part of their Superstay line, Activewear edition. So this is supposed to last 30 stinking hours. That is some real serious wear time. So we're putting it to the test today, doing a review and demo. So if you want to hear my thoughts and see it in action, then just keep on watching. I'm so excited. All right, so Superstay Active Wear. I love that. It's supposed to be super long wearing on the under eyes, which is perfect. 30-hour concealer. I mean, I personally won't be wearing it for 30 hours. But that just tells me that this is going to be a super great lasting power for everyday makeup looks. If you're going into the office wearing your makeup for, you know, long periods of time, 12 hours sometimes with your commute, this is going to be, I think, a good one. I have two shades that I think are going to be good potential matches. So shade 15 and 22. There's 16 shades in this collection, which I think is pretty good for a concealer line. So there's actually two shades between 15 and 22. There's 18 and 20. That's kind of like, I don't understand this shade range whatsoever. So it goes like 0, 1, 5, 10, 11, 15, 18, 20, 22, 25, 27, 30, 42. Like, what? I don't understand it at all. And there's no names next to them at all. So again, I have a few shades here. The best ones that I think are gonna suit me are 15 and 22. I just know it in my gut that I'm gonna be like 18 or 20. Like I have this feeling. Before we get into the shades, let's talk about the packaging. So this is what the packaging looks like right here. It's really nice. I actually have no complaints about the packaging. It's a white tube and you can see into it so you can see the color, which I love in products. And then it does have a nice kind of doe foot applicator, pretty thin, but big enough that you're going to be able to get pretty good coverage, but precision when applying to your face. When it comes to concealers, I do really prefer a wand. I think that it gives you so much control when you're applying it to the areas of your face, and then I like blending it out depending on the product with a beauty blender or a brush. We're going to do beauty blender today. Now let's get into swatches. So I mentioned that there's 16 shades. The shade names, I'm not quite sure what the thinking was behind it. I find it very confusing. There's no indication by giving it names. There's no indication by giving it any kind of coding that says it's warm tone, neutral tone, cool tone, and none of that. It's just basically some numbers. So again, I have 15 and 22. Just for shade referencing, in Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, I'm about a 220 to 228 depending on the time of year and how much sun I get. Right now I'm probably like a 220 more or less. So let's swatch these two and see. Oh man, I don't know. So these are the two shades here. This is 15 and this is 22. So you can definitely see that 15 is a lot more peach toned, and then 22 is a little bit more warm. I'm gonna actually put them on my skin to see, because this is just, I don't know. I think either one of these could work, really. I'm leaning towards 22. I knew it. I feel like I almost jinxed myself when I said that I feel like I'm gonna be like 18 or 20. But nonetheless, we just can't complain. We cannot. So let's just do a smidgen of 15. Ooh, okay. I feel like this would actually be really nice to combat those dark circles. And let's just put, okay, do we see the differences at all? I actually, when it's applied to the skin, oh gosh, I think that 22 is a little bit too warm. So I'm gonna just kind of remove where I applied the 22. We're gonna go in with 15. I think 15 is gonna be best. Honestly, I'm super curious to see what 18 and 20 look like. I feel like 18 might be my shade, especially if it's a little bit more of a neutral tone, but we'll see. I'm gonna just do one eye first so you can see the difference. I've been really liking applying it more in the inner corner of my eye, dragging it down a little bit, stopping, and then adding a little touch more on the outer corner, and then blending it together as I go. Again, going in with a beauty blender and just pushing it right in. And when I go out, I'm dragging that product, like as I push, to meet the other half. So I find this way I'm using a lot less product. I mean, this is really the technique that you see everywhere. But I thought I'd just explain that as I do this. Okay, so that blended out really quickly. What do we think? Definitely brightened. I think the peach almost undertone was actually quite nice in this instance because it canceled out a lot of the blue. I do have some blue tones like in this area, so I think it did a great job of canceling out. I'm actually gonna apply a smidge more, just a smidge right here. Wow, you really don't get too much on the doe foot applicator. Okay, there we go. Interesting, interesting. And again, pushing that into the under eye, and I kind of take it down and out as I blend. And then whatever's left, I pat on top of my eye to just bring that brightness all around and cancel out any potential redness or discoloration that I have on my eyelid. I think that really completes it. So like, yeah, you can definitely see a huge difference in the two. This one just looks really bright, lifted, and awake, and then this one's looking just a little bit more tired. Yeah, just a little bit more tired. I will say one thing that I'm noticing right off the bat is that the applicator, not a heck of a lot of product gets on it. So I do have to go in. It's not necessarily a con, but it's something to note. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out. Again, same motion, pat, 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 all the way out and down. So I think under eyes are pretty good. Not mad at that whatsoever. I'm gonna go ahead and just do a little bit in some other areas that I like to apply concealer on a regular basis. So around my nostrils, I get a lot of redness, center of the forehead and chin, just to kind of complete my highlighting look. Bridge of the nose. Precision of that applicator is quite nice. I just wish it picked up a little bit more product. This is what it's looking like right now. I'm really happy with it. I think coverage wise, this is a nice amount of coverage for every day. It's not heavy duty, but it's definitely going to give you a nice clean appearance. I'm gonna jump off camera really quickly, finish the rest of my makeup, and then be back on to talk a little bit more about this product. So far so good though, like really liking how it's looking, how it applied on top of my foundation, and how it's set as well. So I don't know, we're looking good, but I'll be back in a minute and we'll get a little bit more into it. Okay, we are back, and honestly, really loving the way that everything kind of came together for this makeup look. It's just my usual everyday, but this concealer is working magic for me. Like, I really, really love it. I will say the process was a bit and I think there's a few reasons for that. One, I don't think I have the perfect shade. I think 15's okay, but I'm very curious to see how 18 and 20 look compared to my skin tone. 15 wasn't bad. We definitely made it work. Secondly, I thought that the applicator was also a little bit meh. I like the packaging concept, but I felt like the applicator didn't grab that much product on it, which made me have to go in a few times to get what I needed. And I honestly think, like, the more I think about it, that's why I had to go in with 2 coats on the under eyes, which I never do with like any of my concealers. So I feel like that's why. I feel like it was just a lack of product being distributed. I will say, however, the size of the wand I really do like because it is very precise. You can get into little areas and conceal exactly how you want. So it's like a pro and con. I like the size and shape of it, but I feel like maybe the material just doesn't grab as much product as I would like, or that I'm just used to nowadays with the different types of wands that I've been using. Otherwise, the packaging is really nice. I like that you can see the color. That's a big bonus for me. I find a lot of concealers nowadays are starting to do that. Instead of the tubes, you can actually now see, like a foundation, what the color is, which I think is really important with shade matching when you're at the drugstore, because you can't always swatch things, and I think being able to see the inside of the bottle is so helpful. The naming convention for this line is a thumbs down. That is all I'm gonna say, but the rest is like pretty good. I can work with it. The end result of the concealer is definitely amazing. I really like it. I like the formula as well. It blended out really nicely and gave a beautiful coverage to the under eye. I really like it. I think it's not quite full coverage, but it's a nice everyday coverage because it's not cakey whatsoever, doesn't feel heavy, and it's very nice if you have dry under eyes. I think you'd like this a lot. So the fact that it is 30 hours of wear kind of gives away the fact that it is a matte finish. I honestly don't find it's overly matte, which is nice. It does dry down, but not in a negative way whatsoever on the under eye. I tend to be really hesitant with matte concealers just because the under eye tends to be really sensitive and dry, especially this time of year when you're transitioning from cold to warmer months. on slowly but surely. And I think it's going to be interesting. I'll definitely leave a wear update down below in the description box, how it wears specifically in the T-zone, which is where I tend to get oily first. So I mean, if that like area stays nice and matte where I applied that concealer on top of my foundation, I think that's like very, very impressive, because I always get a little bit oily no matter what. It's just the way my skin is. So I will definitely update you in the wear test below in the description box on how it does wear the rest of the day. Last but not least, it is $11.99. That is on Maybelline's website. I feel like I've seen it at the drugstores for a little bit more than that. I will, of course, link the best one that I can find down below. I always try and do that for you all. And again, I use the shade 15, but I'm gonna insert notes about if you are around a Maybelline 220, maybe try the 18 or 20, or try and swatch it or compare them at the store to see the differences, because I feel like that might be a little bit better, but 15 is definitely a great option, especially if you are somebody who has a little bit more blue under the eyes. Like today, I really had quite a bit of blueness under there, just dark circles from lack of sleep. And I feel like the peach undertones in this concealer really did help mitigate that. So kind of up to you on your preferences. So it depends on your preference and what you're looking for, but 15 does work, but I'm curious about 18 and 20. I think that is going to wrap up this review and demo. Let me know what you think below. If you're gonna try this out, I'm a huge Maybelline fan, so I knew when I saw this that I was gonna be pretty impressed. They actually do also have a foundation in this line. So I have tried the Superstay foundation, but they have a Superstay activewear foundation to match this concealer. So let me know down below if you want me to try that foundation out. I have tried the original and have a full review on it, and I remember loving it. It was several years ago. So I'd be curious to see how the foundation wears as well, especially in the summer months when it's gonna be a little bit warmer and we want our makeup to really stay in place as we, you know, naturally just deal with the heat. So let me know down below if you'd like to see that, and I can definitely head to the drugstore and try and find my shade in that range. But that is gonna wrap this one up. I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and of course, I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.